We have Bradon Sheetz on the left. He's playing Abzan mid-range versus Marvin Carr on the right. He's playing blue-black turns.
Back to Friday Night Magic.
So, Wyatt, blue-black turns. What's the black for? I know what the blue's for.
What's the one reason why people have been splashing black since Aether Revolt came out?
So, Wyatt, blue-black turns.
Yep.
What's the black?
That is the only black cards I've seen in Marvin's
Not
deck.
even Thoughtseize or
Maybe. I mean, I just barely stepped behind Marvin to see him playing.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see Thoughtseizes or any positions. I literally only saw Fatal Pushes.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, let me go get my phone just now.
Bradon is going to start with fetch into a forest and play Birds of Paradise. Not a typical choice in the mid-range deck, but he may be playing that as a budget option over a Noble Hierarch.
I think so. I don't know, though, because, I mean, Bradon does have all his Tarmogoyfs with Lilianas and all that, too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the thing about, like, Tarmogoyf is when you pay that much for a Tarmogoyf, you feel like, okay, well, I'm buying a Tarmogoyf. When you pay the price that Noble Hierarch's currently at, you're like, do I really need to pay this much for a Manador? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. All right, here's Grimflayer on turn 2, along with the Stirring Wildwood. Marvin on his first turn played Serum Vision off of a beautiful Lorwyn foil island. Highly.
all of his islands match.
Oh, boy.
They're all foil Lorwyn.
Oh my.
His entire deck is foil.
Nice.
I was inspecting it earlier.
Very nice. Very nice.
All of his islands match.
Need the Borat gif on the screen. Very nice.
I think he even I think was Time Warp a Judge promo.
Yes.
He has Judge promo Time Warp.
Very nice.
Like, I think he even
Alright, so Grimflayer is going to be a fast clock, relatively, and it'll give him some filtering to help find some disruption once Bradon pinpoints what Marvin's on. But right now, it's like it's hard to say. Like, all you've seen is Island, Drowned Catacombs, Serum Visions. I wouldn't be sure what my opponent's playing.
I honestly at this point would be like thinking Grixis Delver.
Yeah, something
Or
like
that's
that.
Drowned Catacombs, not a Watery Grave.
Yeah, but it could be like a budget option for somebody who's still building or something like that. Alright, so here's Fatal Push on the Grimflayer and Lingering Souls for Bradon. It's going to give him 2/1/1
Spear tokens with flying.
They're so fly. They're pretty fly for a white.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Good. All right. That's the battle land, the Tango land, right? Drowned.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Sunken Hollow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he's just got all the blue-black duels. That one will actually enter tapped, correct? Because Marvin only has
Sunken. It might not be. It might be a
maybe
fetch.
it's a Watery Grave.
It's a fetch.
Oh, it's a fetch. Okay. I'm not sure which fetch land that is. That one will actually enter tapped, Marvin only has.
I'm not either. I would assume
maybe it's a
blue black.
Yeah. I don't
Maybe?
think that's Delta. Maybe it's Delta. Well, we'll find out here if he cracks it. These expeditions are beautiful, but they're terrible on camera. I don't think that's Delta.
What's the blue black filter land?
We'll find out here. Treasure thing. These expeditions are beautiful.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about.
It could be that too.
It could be that.
What's the blue black filter?
Alright, here's in for 2, taking Marvin down to 18. And here's a Tarmogoyf.
Brandon's at 18.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. It could be that too. Boom.
So we've got a pretty fast clock here.
Tarmogoyf, instant sorcery land?
Yeah, there's the marsh flats right here.
Yep, I see that.
Alright, so that is a fetch land. Marvin's going to fall down to 17. It's going to grab another island. Yeah, there's the marsh flats right here.
Yep,
No need to get shock lands. That's such a light black splash.
Yep. Although I kind of like the idea
of just getting them so you don't draw them.
Well, no, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say just holding open the fetch land.
Yeah.
If he's playing Fatal Push, might as well hold it open for Revolt, or if he wants to play... Okay.
Right. Oh, but he needs to cast this Dictate of Crufix at the end of Brandon's turn, so Marvin's going to draw 2. And unlike Howling Mine, since this puppy has flash, you get to be the first one who draws 2 off of it.
I mean, he has this foil Howling Mines in here, too.
Was that a game day promo?
Which one, the Dictate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Journey in the next game, top game promo.
Yep.
Alright, so here's Serum Visions. I say top bottom. What do you say? Call it.
Put me on spot double top.
Okay.
Both on top.
Alright, come on.
Dang.
Yeah, alright, I got it. Serum Vision count 1 for Ryan.
I didn't know we were doing that.
I usually do that. Yeah. Alright, come on. It's the war.
Dang.
Yeah, alright.
Alright.
I beat Kurt every time. Vision count 1.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, little shade at Kurt and I all the way up in New York. Alright, so Brandon's in for 6.
Oh, he's got that 4-5 Tarmogoyf.
This is a 3-turn clock.
I think he has an Abrupt Decay in hand, which he'll probably... Where's that? He's going to use another Souls. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he could have...
He could have another land. He may have...
Well, he has the
Oh,
bird.
he has the bird.
Yep. Which will probably... Which I feel like Abrupt Decaying the Dictate seems fine.
Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of targets, and it's going to slow Marvin down. He has to...
He casts another one.
Which
I feel like you have to get rid of.
Yeah, I probably
now.
would. Like, you just got to cast your spells, and you don't have a lot of targets, and you got to slow them down however you can, especially since you have it.
And any of his permanents that Marvin draws.
Ooh, it's a miracle!
Alright, but any of the permanents that Marvin draws are just going to be able to be Abrupt Decayed.
Yeah.
Although I do like. I hadn't even thought of this. Since Marvin's main win condition in this deck is by playing although I do like his counters on Part of the Water Veil to turn one of his creatures or one of his lands into a creature.
Yep.
If Brandon just draws a Fatal Push, he can Fatal Push that land.
That's really strong, yeah. Alright, so Marvin has cast 2 take an extra turn cards in that one turn, so he will have another turn after this one.
Another one.
Yeah.
He can Fatal Push that land.
That's really strong.
What was his other take an extra turn card?
This is the weird one, the Shadowmoor one, I think. It's this card right here.
The Super Glared.
Yeah.
What was his other
Super
take
Glared.
an
Alright, there's Talonmon. Classic.
You know what would have been the greatest extra turn card ever? If they did Caffeinated Celeste Sand, and instead of gaining control, it was literally you take an extra turn, and then your stuff doesn't untap.
That would have been maybe a little too good, but yeah. How much does that card cost? Like 3, 4? 4. Okay. Yeah, that'd be alright. That might actually just be unplayable in the modern version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, down to...
Which strictly be Commander.
Yeah, which is fine, because we need more take an extra turn card than Commander.
Yes, we do.
Alright, so here's Marvin's last turn. All he did was cast Howling Mine on that previous turn, but now he gets to draw 3. And there's a Blink Moth Nexus. That's an interesting choice. I've never seen that played in this deck.
It's that's Blink Moth, not Ink Moth.
Or Ink Moth, no.
It is Ink Moth? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems fine right now. He can put all his counters on...
Yeah, on that, and make it a faster clock, yeah.
Well, yeah, if he just casts...
I mean, it seems fine
right now. He can put all his now we're going to get to it.
So we're still +1 on turns.
Well, yeah. But if he Part of the Water Veils twice on it, it'll literally kill you.
Yeah.
Or just once. I mean, it doesn't matter.
You're right. Still +1 on turns. And even so, like if he keeps drawing turn cards and he just gets to keep attacking,
he gets 2 attacks in.
Yeah.
Brandon's completely tapped out. Here comes another Time Warp.
And he must have something else to do because he tapped that Nexus instead of attacking.
Brandon's completely tapped out.
Still +1.
Here comes another Time Warp.
So he's discarding Island to turn. And he's going to draw 3 cards for his turn. Still +1. I think this is his 5th turn in a row, I believe, maybe 6th.
Alright, now he's Part of the Water Veiling.
Yeah, he's going to use Awaken on the Ink Moth Nexus. It's a good tech, I like it.
Yep.
How many counters is it?
6.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a 7/7.
Yeah, so it's a turn. It's a 2-turn clock. Yeah.
Yep.
It's good tech. Which he'll definitely get. He'll definitely get to attack once.
6.
Ooh. There's a good chance it's going to get to attack a second time. But I definitely see what you're talking about. Fatal Push seems to be really strong in this matchup.
Yep. And I don't think there are any mainboard counter spells in Marvin Carr's deck.
We need to get an Infect counter in our feature match area. And that should be game right there. Alright, yeah, so Marvin Carr is going to take game 1 over Brandon Sheetz off of the back of an Ink Moth Nexus and blue-black turns. I would not have guessed I would say those words in that order.
I like the Ink Moth Nexus a lot in here.
Yeah, that seems great.
I don't really keep up with the turns list because it's not like it's a common deck.
Didn't it do really well at the Vegas Modern Grand Prix?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
remember people were talking about it, feeling Longmore was tweeting like constantly about it. It was a thing. Alright, well, we have our players sideboarding. Since we don't have their lists, and you really don't want to hear us speculate about how this goes, you know, Brandon's going to bring in some discard spells and whatnot. We're going to talk to you about another event we have coming up here at the end of August. It is the Four Horsemen Eternal Festival. It is our own take on Eternal Weekend. It's going to be 3 days of Eternal Magic events, August 25th through the 27th. First day on Friday, we're going to have 2 F&M style events. One will be our regular Modern at 6:30. But before that at 6, we're going to have a Friday night Proxy Legacy, which I know a lot of people are excited for, but not as excited as they are for our Day 2 main event, the Four Horsemen Team Eternal Championships. Now, I would ask you, Wyatt, to tell me what Team Eternal is, but you don't know because I made it up. It is team constructed, but you drop the standard and you add vintage to it.
I can get behind this. So, I've already discussed it with the team. We're going to try to run it back a third time.
Are you going to be the vintage guy?
No.
Is Kazu's going to be the vintage guy?
Kazu will be our vintage guy.
Surely not Jimmy. No offense, Jimmy.
We did joke around about putting Jimmy on vintage.
Well, I mean, you can just like put him on vintage, and then it's like you and Kazu have to win. Surely not Jimmy. No offense, Jimmy.
We did joke around about putting. We were talking about, since it's Proxy Legacy, what we could do for that, and we're like, well, we should, play a different deck. Maybe play a different deck than what we would normally play.
Yeah.
And he was like, what if you just proxied all of Elves? Which, funny enough for our viewers at home, between Kazu and my teammate and I, we have an entire foil Elves deck minus Gaia's Cradles.
Yeah, I mean, those are just a wee bit expensive.
So we're I kind of want to just in color to print out all the proxies, but also print out the foil version that you can get offline with the weird coloring and play that as the Legacy deck.
What if one of you played Elves in Legacy, one of you played Elves in Vintage, and one of you played all proxies, and the other one played all foils?
I don't even know what we're gonna play. We're trying to figure out what our vintage should be.
I think that's gonna be a hard decision. Their metagame seems to be in kind of a loopy place at the moment.
I think the big thing that Kazu and I were talking about is especially because it's not a super common format. I think if you pick a deck, feel comfortable with it, and can go out there and feel comfortable with how the deck's supposed to be played, you should be able.
Yeah, I'd say most Eternal formats. That's what I always tell people about Legacy. Metagaming it's important, and it's good to have a well-placed deck. But it's definitely more important to know your deck, because Legacy and Vintage are huge formats with tons of interactions, and it's just better to know the interactions that your cards have with them.
Yes.
Because even if your deck is quote unquote tier 2, I'd rather play a tier 2 deck I know than a tier 1 deck I don't.
Between everybody on our team, especially since we can proxy, but unproxied we have. Don't know if Kazu still has everything yet for a Lauren. We have a Lauren, Elves. I don't think we have Food Chain, Death and Taxes, Ant.
Yep.
Probably Test.
Usually they're just a handful of cards difference.
And a couple lands different. Yeah. And between our team we could have just about anything.
Alright, we have some other events going on during the Four Horsemen Festival. We'll touch on those later in the broadcast. Right now we're back in the match. Brandon Sheetz is on the play, and he's going to fetch Shock. We're going to see, I would imagine, a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition here.
I would think Inquisition. I'm going to go with Inquisition.
Usually you lead on Inquisition because, obviously those are the cards that are more likely to cast on turn 1, and then you save the Thoughtseize for the following turns.
Yep. Usually you lead on Inquisition.
Yep. All right.
Andy has a Thoughtseize.
So Marvin is going to reveal Flooded Strand Island, Snapcaster Mage, Dictate of Krufix, Time Warp, Temple Mastery, and the other take an extra turn card that I just can't seem to remember the name of. Is it Saber the Moment?
I don't think so, because I played one of my commander decks played every card in it that said take an extra turn. And I don't think so, because I played
bad man.
It was fun. Getting to alright, I found my Palinchron, I'm gonna High Tide, I win. Infinite Storm.
And did it.
It was fun. But Brandon is going to opt to take the Snapcaster, which is generic, almost always the best option. Brandon has a Path Exile in hand.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, if you Thoughtseize somebody and have a Snapcaster mage, that's the card to pick.
I don't know how I feel about playing the turn 2 Thoughtseize, though. You know he's not going to be able to play any of his turn cards on turn 2. Anything relevant, unless he draws like a Howling Mine. Howling Mine's 2, not 3, right?
Right, it's 2.
Okay. So, unless he drew a Howling Mine, but I still don't know.
It's possible that that's just the order he needed to cast his spells to be efficient in his hand.
True. So, unless you drew a Howling Mine,
Path Exile seems pretty decent against the Inkmoth Nexus as well.
I also looked online. Channel Fireball put a list up from the list from Grand Prix Vegas, and it played one of Inkmoth Nexus.
Okay.
Which I guess if you're digging through your deck, it's not hard to find that one up.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you don't have it, you still can smash face with just
a 6/6.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I guess if you're digging through your deck, it's not hard to find that one. Yeah.
Alright, so looks like Serum Visions was the draw for Mr. Carr.
A 6/6.
Top.
Top bottom. Yeah.
Come on, Marvin. I want to be 2-0. Come on.
Bottom.
Alright. So I am 101. Alright, it's Flooded Strand and kicks it back. I know that expedition. I know.
I do, because that one's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's real nice.
Thoughtseize 3.
Yeah. If he has
Howling
that many
Mine.
discard spells.
I
know that expedition. I don't know.
I feel like I take out the.
It's hard to say because if you take the turn spells, then he's just going to draw more cards with his enchantments and artifacts. But if you take those, then he already has the. It's rough.
I feel like I take the. I would have much rather taken the Dictate so that it can't be flashed in, so Martin doesn't get the 2-card advantage on you.
Yeah.
It leaves open Martin with 1 more mana at the time, but
it was definitely a hard one. Also, taking the Dictate might be relevant for your Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, so updating life totals. Brain Sheetz is at 13 thanks to those 2 Thoughtseizes. Thoughtseizes. Yeah. I don't know what the plural is for seizes. And Martin is at, so updating life totals. Brain Sheetz is at 13 thanks to those 2.
Alright, and we have Brandon taking himself down lower. I'm going to say probably to 12. I don't see him shocking.
Yep. The Abzan deck usually just looks to get double black, and then after that, it's not. If it has all 3 colors and double black, it's usually not worried about whatever else, unless you have a Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah. Which Scavenging Ooze doesn't seem to do anything here.
I guess it counters Snapcaster mages, but I don't. If you're at the point where they're Snapcastering their take the turn spells, you probably lost anyway.
Probably.
Alright, so Liliana seems good. Up to 4. Brandon's going to discard Path to Exile. Marvin will discard a Temporal Mastery.
Unless Brandon has another way to deal with a creature, I don't know how I feel about discarding a Path to Exile here.
He may have another removal spell, or maybe he feels like he has so much removal in his deck that he's going to draw another one, especially with these effects. Yeah. So Inquisition, draw 2 more.
Yep.
1 more. He drew a Path.
Okay, and a Lingering Souls.
Okay.
So,
drawing. Gonna start with Inquisition. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He drew a Path 2 times.
Well, he can discard it with Liliana.
Yeah, that's true. Discard one of them. And actually, Marvin still needs another land. Granted, he's gonna draw 3 cards, but.
Oh, first I was thinking Thoughtseize, but alright, so he's gonna be able to time warp next turn.
Alright, so flashback, Lingering Souls.
The worst thing, I feel like for Brandon sitting here right now, the worst thing is knowing it's potentially, your opponent could potentially just go off on this turn.
Yeah.
And I say go off like it's a combo deck, but it does that.
I mean, it is. I'd say it's a combo deck. It's very non-interactive.
I think you just drew another time warp. And I say
so it's
and the Ink Moth.
It's sort of like Storm and Elves, where it's like a combo deck that needs a cumulative amount of cards rather than just 2 cards.
Yeah.
So it's weird. sort of like Storm.
And like I did watch Marvin play against Sean last. Not really, I could say that I watched him play, but I watched the end of his one game, and like Marvin was in the middle, like took like 5 turns in a row, and then just did not draw an extra turn card.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. Like Caleb used to play this deck a lot, and that happened to him.
And like Marvin was in the middle, like took like 5 turns in a row, and then just did not. And did Marvin hit that point? So I try to Inquisition.
Can you imagine if this deck had Ponder and Preordain? It's pretty nasty.
That's what we should play for no banless modern.
Oh yeah. I think you take the path here because that Abrupt Decay will not kill your Inkmoth Nexus. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Nor will the Maelstrom Pulse, obviously. I think you take the path here because that Abrupt Decay will not kill your Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, you're just gonna take the Pulse.
No, does Pulse says non-land. It does say it says non-land permanent, right?
It's also a sorcery, yeah.
Well, no, because if he puts counters on it, it automatically makes Inkmoth into a creature.
But it's still a land.
It's still a land, but I had to make sure that.
Yeah, Pulse says non-land.
Okay, that's why I had to make sure of. Like sorcery speed, kill spells could still destroy.
Could still destroy it, but that one specifies it can't kill lands.
Yep.
I guess Marvin wants to protect his dictator. Is how
like sorcery speed. Also, oh man, Marvin has to be completely sure that he's gonna win the game if he wants to put counters on that. Because if he lets Brandon take a turn, he can down tick, make him sack that land. Because it would be a creature at the time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Amazing. Because if he lets Brandon flash, I think another dictate end of turn. No.
No, it's
Giga Drowse.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes.
An interesting card choice.
That I do know that's because now it leaves Marvin an open board to attack into.
Right.
So now if he can go off this turn and put counters on that Inkmoth, it should be honestly
beautiful.
An open board
Guild Pact Watery Grave, I think, or maybe it's Dissension. But anyways, Marvin is at 16.
And he did put the counters. It looks like on the. Even if he didn't represent it, he pointed to it and moved it in front.
Yeah, it looks like he may just have the kill here, so he's just moving quickly. He's got the Tom Ross sit up in his chair. Let's go. Like, you dead posture. Yeah, it looks like he may just have the kill here, so he's here's Snapcaster Mage. He's going to flashback.
A take turn spell.
Yep. There's a Time Warp. Let's do the Time Warp.
Animate, attack you for 7 infect.
So Brandon Sheetz is at 3 essentially.
Yep.
He's going to take his extra turn.
He's just going to concede because
he needed to leave open path to exile.
And even still, it didn't matter because he had the Giga Drowse. He can tap down a land.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like he's just going to concede because.
Alright, so Marvin Carr takes this one 2-0. That was relatively quick, so we are going to work a little bit harder to get a second match under the camera. We will be right back for you guys. Thanks for watching. So Marvin Carr takes